Hey there, welcome to My Green Pets. I'm William Green. These are my orchids growing in their grow tent in my little one-bedroom apartment, mostly Cattleyas. And we are at the end of the growing season. You can see the Catasetums over here are showing their lovely autumn colors. Dropped some leaves already. That's going to progress for the next month or so. And I'm going to go ahead and start out with these guys. I'm really kind of surprised, very excited. This is my Clowesia Rebecca Northen. I got this from Sunset Valley Orchids back in June. And would you believe, can you see those nubbins? It's got a spike. And not just one, it's got two spikes. There's another one poking out the bottom here. I like this little guy already. So that is going to be great. Hopefully those will continue and actually bloom out. Mormodia Jumbo World also, if I can pull him up here, got a nice spike pushing out the bottom. Now normally this plant will push two spikes, so I'm hoping, I don't see anything on the other side yet, but hopefully we'll get two this year. And I would really like to have a big, beautiful display, considering the bulb on this plant is the biggest it has ever been. I thought this was about as big as the bulbs could get, but oh no, this year it's really just had a flawless year of growing. So very excited about that, and those will be giving us flowers in the next couple months. Right next to it we got HAL Bulbophyllum echinolabium, and I don't want to move him too much, but you can see he's bloomed facing the wall this time. And more flowers coming on HAL. Looking pretty nice there. Got two seed pods on my Cattleya rexus. These were pollinated back in June. And if all goes well, these will be just like this for another 6 months or so. They typically last about a year before they start to split and the seed starts dropping out. So that's going to be great. I want to look at Bulbo Lovely Elizabeth. What's really cool about Bulbophyllum is that their roots, while they can be aerial roots, as soon as they hit something moist like this bark, you can see they start to develop root hairs. And I think they're not the only orchids that have root hairs, but it's just really kind of remarkable how quickly, as soon as those roots have touched that moist bark, they started to put root hairs out everywhere. And I think that might be one reason why bulbos hate to be repotted, because that just totally destroys all those root hairs. But I'm really, really glad that it looks like it's taking very well to this bark mix. And the new growth will probably be smaller than the last growth, but that's okay as long as it gets really well established and those roots get right down in there and get plenty of moisture up to that bulb. The next bulb, which might start growing out in the spring, should be bigger and get this plant back on the upswing. Right next to it we've got Rlc Jessie Lee. You can see the one bud on this plant. It's kind of blurry. There we go, and you can see the bud has already started to kind of split open, and that I do believe is because of the insecticide that I've been spraying the past 3 weeks. I've noticed this before when, at least with the Cattleyas, when the buds and flowers and leaves get sprayed with the insecticide. It's the Bear 2-in-1. I think it's imidacloprid and cyfluthrin, both. And I've been spraying for fungus gnats. I remember when I'm babysitting, plant sitting a few plants right now for a friend, and I believe that this big Phalaenopsis in this big pot of moss, I think that there were fungus gnats in it, and I knew that there was always a possibility of introducing something into the tent, so I've been treating everything with that insecticide, and hopefully going to be able to get rid of most of those fungus gnats. They're actually not they're more of a nuisance than everything, but they can be vectors for spores and fungal infections, so definitely want to minimize them if possible. Down here we've got two Bulbophyllums. This is catenulatum. You can see the bud did not open today. I think this one's done. And then there are some more buds coming soon. And then next to it you can see a larger bulbo. You can see the big fat leafless bulbs. And here's one leaf that's starting to yellow and fall off. So this is a new one for me. I just got it in January. I'm not sure why it doesn't like to hold on to leaves. You can see some new ones growing here. I don't know if it's a humidity issue. I'm not exactly what it is. Not sure what it is, but it's got very tiny, fine little roots. But the bulbs are plump, which tells me it's able to take up water. It's getting water, but there's something that causes the leaves to dry up, yellow, and fall off. So not sure if the humidity is too low, because it can get low in here. Like right now this morning, you can see the humidity is at 41%. It's because I've got the tent open. But at night, you know, it can get up to 80% here. So it could be that range is just not enough. Not enough for that plant. Last week I showed you this Bulbophyllum lepidum. It was very cute. That flower only lasted about 3 days. You can see right there by my thumb, that's all that's left of it. Luckily, we do have another one coming. If you look in the very bottom there, you can see at the bottom of the base of that bulb. Another one pushing up. Really happy about that. Cute, cute little bulbo. Beautiful fan-shaped inflorescence there. Bulbophyllum medusae also has a couple of spikes forming. You can see one right here, and then there's another one back here as well. You can't really see very well, but very glad to. Looks like we're going to get some flowers on Medusa this year, even though she was divided from, I don't know, she was cut into 6 or 7 pieces back in January, but she's recovered. Cycnodes Wine Delight, tiny little division. It was a third back bulb division. You can see it's really swollen up in the past few weeks. It's consumed that older bulb, but it has made a nice new fat bulb. And this one typically is not dormant for very long. Usually when the last leaf falls off the current pseudobulb, you can already see a new bulb starting. So I will continue to water this. Oh, I wanted to mention that I continue to water my Catasetums until the leaves are totally off. And the ones that spike in the wintertime, I still keep them moist, not wet, but a little bit moist, until the flowers are completely developed and open. I found out that my Cycnodes Wine Delight was not, it was just producing really big, nice growths, but the flower spikes were just, just a few flowers. And it was because I was reducing water as soon as the plant started dropping leaves. And I found that if I kept watering through flower production until that last flower was open and then stopped watering, I got way, way, way more flowers. I got, previously I was getting like 6 flowers, and last year I got 28. So I'm going to keep watering until the plant is completely leafless. This definitely not going to bloom this year. Too small. So good to know about those. Still got my eye on Cattleya walkeriana, but no sign of any kind of spikes yet. This is a Cattleya trianae, AC Burrage. He was, I think, the original president of the founding president of the American Orchid Society back in the 1930s, I believe. And it has a nice new little growth coming up down here. Kind of hidden, but you can see it right here. Woo, I love it. That purple color on there tells me it's getting lots of light. And I'm hoping, because of this last leaf was such a nice size, I'm hoping it only needs to make 1 or 2 more leaves before it's flowering size and ready to start giving us flowers. This is a midwinter bloomer, January, February, and that's going to be really, really welcome because my collection is pretty green during that time. I tend to get a lot of blooms in the spring, summer, and midway through autumn. Like the Catasetums start blooming in late autumn. Jessie Lee blooms in late autumn. The Bulbos bloom in late autumn. And then there's kind of a dead period in January, February, March where things are growing, but not a lot of blooms. So I'm really hoping that my trianae, and I've got 2 other trianae seedlings, eventually I hope to have flowers blooming all through the winter. I've seen a lot of beautiful photos of Cattleya labiata, people that have that plant, adult-sized plant. It is also a fall bloomer, so you see it in October, November. A lot of people are enjoying those now, and I've got 3 labiata seedlings as well. Again, probably 3-4 years from first flowers, but one of these days we hope to have those in bloom. Another plant that's supposed to be a winter bloomer, this is Dendrochilum tenellum. This originally came from Andy's Orchids, but my friend Joe, Perpetual Irish, he gifted this to me a few years ago. It was just 3 little leaves when I got it, and it has really grown a lot. I keep it fairly moist, let it dry out a little bit, but it's grown a lot better this year that I've kept it a little bit more moist than I had in the past. And it's supposed to be a winter bloomer as well, and the flowers just come right out of those skinny leaves. Looks like grass, but the flowers will come right out the tops of those little strings of white flowers. Really, really cool. Hopefully we'll get something this year, if we're lucky. I'm not sure if there's some kind of a key to getting it to bloom or if it's just patience. A lot of times that's all it is, patience. And then I always have special feelings for this seedling. This is Cattleya blossfeldiana. It's a natural hybrid between Rex and luteola. They're in the Peruvian Andes. And there is a Ukrainian, I believe he's Ukrainian, Instagrammer, and his name is, I think his name is Lesha, but his handle on there is like krill something. I'll put it there on the screen so you can check it out, or I'll put it in the description. But he posted a blooming photo of Cattleya blossfeldiana last week, and my jaw just about hit the floor. It's a yellowish flower with a kind of Cattleya rex like lip. You can definitely see the influence, but it's just a small plant. It's not a big plant at all, and you very, very rarely see it. It's not often available. He's got all kinds of really just spectacular Cattleyas, and he has spectacular photos of them as well. He has a Cattleya mossiae by Rex, and the hybrid name of that is Fairy Queen. Again, these are crosses. You never see these old primary crosses. He's got a bunch of them, just gorgeous, and he blooms them beautifully. They live in like the 18th floor of an apartment complex in Kiev, Ukraine, and just unbelievable the Cattleyas that he's able to grow and bloom there. So that's just about all I have to show you. Seedlings are continuing to do what they do. Nice little new roots there. Michael McCarty showed me that some people, it looks like they had bought flasks from Peruflora, had them delivered during the Tamiami festival, and then immediately listed them on eBay. He showed me some eBay postings where they were Peruflora seedlings still in the flask. So if you did manage to get some Rex or Dowiana or Triumphans seedlings from Peruflora recently, or if you're just kind of venturing into the world of seedlings, please feel free to share your progress and check back here to see what I do with mine. All of these Cattleyas that you can see were originally little seedlings like this. It took about 7 years before I got my first blooms, but actually no, it was 2014 I got them. First blooms 2019. So 5 years. 5 years I got my first blooms. But I'm really, really excited about seedlings. They have so much potential. And Honestly, I think seedlings, in a way, they are more adaptable than adult plants. They kind of just grow perpetually, so they don't need. Once the plant starts to get to blooming size, it really starts to grow in cycles, and it needs those cycles because it takes so much energy to put out a new growth, and especially to bloom. It needs to rest after it does that. It has very specific rooting times, very specific growing times. Seedlings aren't like that. Seedlings just grow and grow and grow and grow and grow, and they have really soft tissue at the base, so they can push new roots pretty much anytime they want. Whereas an adult plant like this cannot. This plant cannot just push roots whenever it wants to. It can only push roots when a new growth is completed and that base of the growth is still soft enough to let some roots push out. But once that hardens up, that's it. There's no more roots coming out of that growth. But little seedlings like this, they can just root right out the sides. You can see some little roots just pushing out the sides of that one. Even though the top growth died off, probably because I killed it with some kind of chemicals a few weeks ago. It's re-rooting, and you can see even the root tips at the ends of those old roots there are coming out. So if you can, I know it takes forever, but I have a feeling that I really believe that if you get seedlings, you can learn how to grow the plant, and the seedlings will allow you to make some pretty big mistakes with them and still recover. And by the time that plant is blooming size, you're going to be a master at keeping that thing happy. Whereas if you get an adult plant, especially something like Rex or Dowiana, that they are just really, really tough plants to grow because they are so picky, and one little mistake can kill your plant, and that's it. You've lost it. So it can be really frustrating, to spend a lot of money on a nice big mature plant and then watch it die. So I really do encourage people to, especially for really difficult orchids like Cattleya Rex, Cattleya Dowiana, and anything else, if you can get your hands on some seedlings, the seedlings ultimately will be more forgiving than the adults. So even though it might take a while, your chances of success, I believe, are going to be higher than if you just start with an adult plant. Now, of course, if you buy the plant in sheath with buds in the sheath, you're going to get blooms, of course. But even then, they might not come out right, and then you might see the plant slowly decline after that, which is really depressing. Okay, enough babbling from me. Thank you guys for stopping by. I hope you are experiencing some success in your own growing endeavors. And we'll see you next time right here on My Green Pets. I'm William Green. See ya.